From turnstile to turnstile, let's talk theme parks.
Welcome to Park Hopper Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Dominic Eveco. We are here again with Peter Brookhart, and we are excited for this episode because this is something that I think everybody enjoys when they go to yes, we are talking about Disney today, a Disney resort, theme park all around the world, and that is our top 5 favorite resorts at the Walt Disney World Resort. But before we get started on that, I just want to say, Peter, thank you for showing up today. I thought you weren't going to, but you are here and ready to go.
I'd just like to point out that we should all give a round of applause and thank Dom for being ever so patient. Prince Charming over here.
That is my middle name.
I was running late today. I had to go to the grocery store after work, and then I wanted to get my run in before the podcast. And then it's about just exactly 50 minutes on the dot from when we were supposed to start recording. So thanks, Dom. Thanks for giving me that patience. But guess what? I have something that'll make it up for you.
What?
When this podcast goes live, you'll be on vacation.
I will be. I will be.
In sunny Florida.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I'll be in Florida yet.
You'll be on vacation, though. You will be on vacation.
I'll be. My mind is already on vacation. People at work have already told me my mind's not here right now. It is on vacation.
You know, I literally told Sarah, I should pull her in. I told Sarah that I think you were already on vacation. And I could tell via your text messages.
Why? Sarah, get over here.
You're on my ears. You can't
Sarah. Hear me. Why do you say that?
Just like the word choice you were using, you just seemed very exuberant in your text messages.
I'm not sure what you're meaning by this, but we'll go with it.
All right, let's get started. Let's do our typical things. I'd like to thank everybody since the last time. I haven't even brought this up to Dom. Since the last Park Hopper podcast, we had mentioned that Sarah and mine, our YouTube channel, The Brookhart Project, was close to reaching 2,000 subscribers, and as of late last night, we have achieved that. We are a little over 2,000 YouTube subscribers.
Well, congratulations.
So I'd like to thank everybody who gives any of their time to watch or enjoy any of our ventures, and we are the Brookhart Project, putting up daily videos of our life on YouTube, and you can find other content on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Brookhart Project. And Dom, let's hear what's going on with you.
Yeah, and you can go ahead and follow myself and my girlfriend Victoria on YouTube at Dom and Vic, and you can also go follow us on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit. And I know I've mentioned it 1,000 times, but for those of you who are new or might not want to follow us just because you're playing hard to get with me, that's okay. I forgive you, and you know what? One day, hopefully, I can win your hearts over. But what we do there is we kind of started with our Instagram, and we go around Detroit and the Metro Detroit area, and we take photos of our favorite places and cool-looking food that we really enjoy. But it's not only Detroit. We've gone to Chicago. We're going to Orlando, obviously, next week. So we kind of got that, and then we got our YouTube channel, Dom and Vic, and it's kind of a mixture of our life / us going out to eat, because we do that a lot. So that, like I said, is Dom and Vic on YouTube and at Dom and Vic East Detroit on Instagram.
You know what?
And I also want to, yeah.
Do you think? Wait a minute. So you're going to be in Orlando, and I'm going to be in Orlando, and
yes,
and little Vic, as I call her, is going to be in Orlando, and Sarah's going to be in Orlando.
Yeah.
Dare I say it's going to be a Dom and Vic Eats crossover with the Brookhart Project?
Oh,
in all
I like it.
mediums, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, podcasts, dare I say.
Break me off a piece of that. I dig it.
It is a social media dream come true week.
Yes. If you happen to see us, we will probably be eating.
Oh, that's 100%.
Yes.
Why do you think I went on this run today? And
I'm
gonna go. How far? What'd you do?
Well, here's the thing.
I know we're different. It's different running.
So I don't like, you are training for a marathon, and I'm training to get into shape. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, but it's been a little slow lately. I haven't been able to go as much as I like, but I haven't been running for a while. So last week I ran one day. I ran 2 miles and did my chest workout, and today I did biceps and triceps and then ran a mile. So it wasn't like a real like heavy run. It was just something to kind of cool me down and break a sweat after my weight training.
Hey, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I'm excited about this social media crossover. But before we get more into that, I also want to mention that you can email us at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com to send us your theme park testimonials, and those are experiences that you have had in any theme park across the world that you want us to read on air. We've had one so far, and it's been great, and we would really like to get some more of those because we like hearing those experiences very, very much. And also, I'll let Peter go on and explain our Patreon that we also have going on as well.
Yeah, so the last bit before we dive into our top 10 hotels or resorts, which I'm very excited about because when me and Dom do these top whatevers, we don't know each other's. And I think we're going to be different on our top 5 resorts. Me and Dom have, to a degree, certain levels of similar tastes in food, but I think our taste in resorts can vary. Especially because we look at different aspects of it. But Patreon is our little exclusive club to bring you specialized content that you only receive through supporting our podcast through patreon.com/parkhopperpodcast. And let me tell you what, I'll give you a hint. Well, I'll give you an example because by the time this podcast airs, I'm going to have our first I-4 Rambles posted, and it's going to be exclusively about why I think you should or should not purchase a timeshare interest in the Disney Vacation Club. And if anybody who's ever watched my YouTube or talked to me in person or anything like that will know I believe I do a good job of being pretty objective about whether you should or should not invest in something as scary as a timeshare. But Disney does it good. So definitely, if you want access to that shorter podcast, go to patreon.com/parkhopperpodcast and see what that's about to see how you can gain exclusive access to some more specialized videos and pods.
Well, I'm excited to listen to that.
You have to become a patron, Dom. For you.
He says I'm not. So let's get started. And like we mentioned before, this episode is going to be on myself and Peter's top 5 favorite resorts on the Walt Disney property, plus an honorable mention because there's just too many good ones and we don't want to leave anybody out, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
But we are going to leave a lot out because there's like over 20 resorts.
Right. That's very true. So, Peter, I will let you go first because I am a gentleman. So, go ahead with your number 5 favorite Walt Disney World Resort.
Now, real quick disclaimer. I feel like I'm going to be more passionate about these resorts than our previous tops of quick service and table service food and beverage because me living here, I get to enjoy the resorts in its in its everything it has to offer a lot more than the food because I can go to the resorts for free and hang out there and see what's going on with them, whereas I don't have money to drop Ohana every Wednesday night, contrary to people's perceptions. So my number 5, let's do 5 to 1. Like always, they're probably going to be really close, but to me, they're not. All right, so my top 5 is Port Orleans Riverside, and
ooh, stop it with your bad stuff. I like it.
This is a New Orleans themed resort. It is massive. It's actually split into 2 sections, one being the Magnolia Bend, and the other one being the Alligator Bayou. And I more so have a liking to the Alligator Bayou, which is more like bayou themed, New Orleans, foresty. Very nature, alligator symbols everywhere. We actually bought. Dom, did you come with me in 2012 when we went and bought the bench?
Yes, I was. That was quite the experience.
Yeah, so a little something about Disney is they refurbish every resort room every 7 years. And there's so many resorts in Disney World that there's always one going under refurbishment. And Disney gets rid of furniture that, say, isn't up to par for their standards, but isn't bad. So they actually donate those pieces of furniture to local Habitat for Humanities. And when me and Dom and Sarah were working seasonal in 2012, we heard that the Alligator Bayou rooms were getting refurbed, and a bunch of the old furniture was being given to Habitat for Humanities. So Dom comes with me, and we drove like 45 minutes north of Disney into middle of nowhere to this Habitat for Humanity next to an outside laundromat. We go in, and they had literally, it was like walking into a storage warehouse of Alligator Bayou rooms. You had armoires, headboards, closets, benches, and if you've been in some of these Disney rooms, they've got these like footrest benches that are at the end of the bed. And it says Sassagoula Trading Company across the front, which is the rivers around Port Orleans, Disney Springs, Saratoga Springs. It's all called the Sassagoula River. And Sassagoula Trading Company is like the fake company that is named after that river. And it had the classic Alligator Bayou alligator and other tree and fish print, this nasty green color on top, but it's so Port Orleans Riverside. And I think we got it for $20. And Dom came with me to help me load it in the car. But this thing is massive, and to this day, Sarah and I still have it in our front front hall kitchen area. But
Yeah.
Port Orleans Riverside, there's just a lot to do. It's a decent price. I think it's a moderate resort.
It is.
It's a moderate resort, but there's a guy named Yeehaw Bob that performs in the lobby Wednesday through Saturdays from 8:30 until 11. He is a character. He's been doing it 20 plus years. He's a standard piano bar, but plays mostly Disney music. You can go fishing. There's like 4 pools. The best pool is on Old Man Island. Or Sarah's family grew up calling Old Man Swim Hole. The food court is amazing. And there's, of course, the boats you can take that'll bring you from Port Orleans to Disney Springs, which I think every single person who goes to Disney should go on the boat system at least once. So there's my number 5.
I like it, Peter. That's a great choice. So my number 5, some people might say, how is it even on your list? But let's be honest. It can't always be the glitz and the glam all the time. And a lot of these times, these top 5s do have more of an emotional factor to them. And this is a hotel that I went to a lot. I stayed at a lot. Stayed there months at a time in the summer, a couple times in a row during my seasonal work at Disney. And that is Pop Century Resorts. You're smiling. Why are you smiling?
Just continue.
This is a resort that I have not actually stayed at Art of Animation, but I will still fight you tooth and nail to say that this is the best value resort on Disney property. I just think it is. It's clean. I like the theming of the hotel, how it's all the different eras. I think the food court's fantastic. I think the pools are really fun. It's just really nicely themed, and it just has a certain smell to it, which we all know about our Disney smells. And maybe it is more that nostalgic factor that I have with this resort. But something about it, I do have it on my list as my top 5 resort. Now, what were you going to say to that? Because I can tell you want to say something.
Can I go with my number 4?
Yeah, go for it. We'll go right into it. Yeah.
Pop Century.
Ooh.
Now, there are. I agree with everything Dom said. The food court is one of the best in town, to the point where they even added the Dole Whip.
Right. Yes.
They added the Dole Whip to the food court, and then in addition to it, I think it's got one of the best gift shops in all of property. But everything else Dom said was perfect. But I want to add to it about I wanted to help him defend it over Art of Animation as the best value resort.
Okay. Because that's what I was going to ask you, because I didn't know if that might have been on your list or not.
No. And
Okay.
And I definitely think Pop Century is better than Art of Animation, and here's why. First of all, look up online. There's an interesting story about why Art of Animation came to where it is, and the whole reason Art of Animation came to be how it is now is because of the attacks in New York and in America on September 11, 2001. Pop Century was supposed to be the 4 or 5 centuries, the 4 centuries or decades it covers now, and then they were going to build the other 4 or other 5 decades of the era on the other side of that pond. But when September 11th happened, the hospitality industry and theme park industry took a huge nosedive. So Disney actually thought that they put a halt and stopped building those buildings. And you can look up in articles online. There's actually photos of parts of Art of Animation being built, foundations being laid, walls of some of the buildings being built that they just stopped. That nobody realized was on the other side of Pop Century. And then years later, when business started coming back up again, they continued to build these buildings. And then at that time, they said, you know what, let's not make these other decades because Pop Century is older. Let's make Art of Animation. But why I say this is because not everybody needs a family suite. And majority of Art of Animation, if not all of it, are family suites. And the food court and gift shops are not as good.
Yeah, and
I mean, Art of
think
Animation's
people-
got good gift, got a good. I will say that because we're gonna get flack for that because it's got an interesting and different food court. But Pop Century is the best.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I said, I've never stayed at Art of Animation, but even the landscaping in general, it is a newer hotel, so it is lacking landscaping. What?
I'm gonna cut you off, Dom, because you're gonna be surprised by this. Ask Sarah. Last time we went to Art of Animation, which was like 2 months ago, it has aged very poorly. I don't know
Really?
why, if it has to do with the construction materials Disney used, because it's not that old of a resort. But painting is fading, certain of the figurines, because it's all scaling up characters to be real life Nemo fish the size of half a building. Cars, it's like a little Cars land in the area. Lion King, you can walk through the Pride or the Elephant Graveyard. A lot of those have aged pretty poorly for how
See,
for
I
how
haven't
old they
been
are.
there, been there in probably 4 or 5 years.
And if I'm saying it, I know you'd agree with me.
Right. Right, because I'm surprised I'm hearing this come out of your mouth, to be honest, right now. Because this would be an argument. People say, oh, Art of Animation, but just in my opinion, I just think out of all the All-Star resorts, I mean, Valley Resorts, Pop Century's much more nicer than the All-Stars. And the landscaping's much more filling. I just like the vibe of Pop Century, and that's why it's my number 5.
I agree. Now, what's your number 4? Because that was my 4.
Okay. Oh, yes. So my number 4. This is kind of where I go more into, well, not so much I'm going into the glitz and glam area. My number 4 resort is a resort, again, I have not stayed at, but I've been to enough times to enjoy it, and I've seen videos and plenty of pictures and know if you've stayed here before, and that is the Wilderness Lodge. Your hands are up, ready to go.
I love Wilderness Lodge.
And obviously Peter, but even me more so because Michigan is very much a cabin-y. Here in Michigan we go up north. That's what it's called. We go to our cottages up north. I don't know what you guys say in Illinois.
You're so modest. Everyone
What?
knows Canada builds the best lodges and cabins.
Stop. So we have the up north. That's what we have here in our summers. In Wilderness Lodge nails that to a T, where you got the log cabin, you walk in, you feel like you're at in Aspen at a ski lodge in Colorado. Like it just totally immerses you into that feel. The restaurants are great. I think their DVC is one of the coolest they have. Even before the actual individual cabins, I like their DVC building, and it's just quiet and it's quaint, and you feel like you're not in Disney. You just feel like you're in this lodge in, like I said, Colorado in the middle of Montana somewhere, and I just really, really dig it.
I'll throw down below some video links of we stayed in the DVC at Wilderness Lodge pre the refurb. All those rooms have been redone, so the rooms don't look exactly like this, but the grounds look the same, and I'll put a video of the new pool area for DVC because it's awesome.
This is a resort, so Victoria obviously went to Disney for the first time last year. And I wanted her obviously to experience all the parks as much as possible, but I also want her to experience the resorts because that was something that's also very important when it comes to Disney. And this was one resort I had to make mention of traveling to when we had a spare moment because I really wanted her to see it.
Did you do Geyser Point yet? Was that open?
It was not open yet. It was opening like the week after we left.
We should try to go.
Yeah.
Because that's like mine and Sarah's favorite thing ever to do is even just for a drink or food or even just to watch the fireworks or just to lounge around because it's a really nice it's a really nice area.
Okay. Yeah.
Geyser Point is the bar that's at the on the shores of Bay Lake behind Wilderness Lodge.
Okay. And I think that's I haven't been there yet, but it seems like a good spot that's in between a table service and quick service.
And
that's a
the
good
service
good
is
spot.
phenomenal.
Okay, awesome. So
Most of the
that
servers I talked to have been at the Wilderness Lodge for years.
beautiful. It looks like a great spot to have. You know, like you said, a beer or just a sandwich, sliders, wings, whatever they serve. Looks like a great spot. So that is my number 4, the Wilderness Lodge Resort.
Now Dom mentions that he was going to Glitz and Glam. I don't know how he's going to react to my number 3 because it is as 98% of the world would say it's pretty glitz and glam. My number 3 option is the
Can I
Grand.
guess?
What?
Yep.
You were
I
gonna
was
guess
gonna
that?
guess it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Grand Floridian Resort and Spa at Walt Disney World. So the Grand Floridian is the big, beautiful white and red resort right next to Magic Kingdom on the monorail loop. Victorian era theming. It's themed after Del Coronado in California. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous resort. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if Dom knows this. During pretty much our entire college program, until maybe Christmas time, I hated this resort.
I I'll let you finish and then I'll comment on it.
I hated the resort because I walked in there and it looked with the gaudy decorations and couches and carpeting and the guy playing beautiful piano at night, and there's a string quartet up on the second floor, and there was like this air to it, and I was like, no, when I have kids one day, I don't like I can't see my kids running around all soaking wet in their swimsuit around this lobby. But then we spent more time there, and especially after seeing it in Christmas with a giant gingerbread house and the Christmas tree, and then actually spending time there to listen to the beautiful music and seeing the cast members there and seeing the families there, then I realized that like that's just like a very snooty. It was snooty of me to think that about the Grand Floridian, and now Sarah and I try to park there as much as we can whenever we go to Magic Kingdom. We try to go. We'll go there probably 2-3 times a month just to go enjoy the music and grab a drink at the bar, to see some of the events going on, to listen to the piano player because there's a nightly piano player who plays the most beautiful renditions of Disney music and other music.
This resort for me, Peter, I'll be honest, it's not on my list.
I didn't think it would be.
You kind of know how I feel about it already. I don't dislike this resort. That's not what I'm saying when I'm about to say what I'm about to say. But for me, this is my mom's favorite resort. She thinks this reminds her of Disney. And for some reason, this hotel does the complete opposite for me. It doesn't. I know people are probably gonna give me a ton of hate for this, but it just doesn't have that Disney feel to me for some reason outside of Christmas, because it's very beautiful, it's very big, very grand, but it's too quiet for me. I don't necessarily need loud, but it just is way too quiet. It doesn't seem, like you said, almost has a snooty feel to it. People just, I don't know, just don't seem happy. A lot of the restaurants there don't mind. I want to go to Victoria Albert's. It's one of my dreams, but I don't feel like they have like a place there that's like, this is like a real cool place. We're coming from the parks, chill real quick, grab a quick bite to eat, kind of, and not feel like you have to get dressed up. And that's just kind of always the vibe that hotel has given to me.
Have you been to what's it called?
The Grand Floridian restaurant.
They have a quick service that I don't know if you've ever been to. You have to access it from the
the
outside.
Gasparilla
Gasparilla Grill.
I have not.
I'll bring you in there. I think you're still gonna think it's too snooty, but they have a Coke. What is it? Like the Coke Freestyle.
Yeah.
And they've got really good paninis and flatbreads and pre-made salads and sandwiches and box lunches with real nice booths in there that isn't as snooty feeling, but at the same time you could justifiably say like, well, why? Maybe that's because it's not attached to the lobby at all. You actually have to go outside and walk around the corner to get there. But I'll show you that hopefully maybe this next week. But if not, then soon.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change. But I get everything you said. I totally could see you saying it. But you can't tell me that resort at Christmas time smells like Disney.
No, it's an absolutely beautiful hotel, and I'm not denying that. It's just kind of like the reasons I said, and I don't dislike the hotel. I mean, it's not even close to being my least favorite hotel. It's just, for me, it just didn't make my top 5 for those very reasons. All right, so my number 3 resort on my list is the Beach Club Resort in the Epcot surrounding areas connected to the yacht club. This is where it gets hard for me because I've stayed at this resort, and say my number one, I've never stayed there before. But this resort's a very special in my opinion. It's got
You
the
just
best pool.
to me, you just showed your hand. I already know. I know what your number one is already.
Well, I thought you would have known it already, anyways.
I assumed, but I wasn't positive because I knew Beach Club would be on there. I knew what I knew was number one would be on there, but I didn't know it was number one yet.
Okay, well, it is. So, Beach Club is number three. They got the best pool, in my opinion, in Disney property. The restaurants, you got the Beaches and Cream, which is such a great spot. It's such a classic Disney spot, and it's a must-do every time I'm in Disney World. Cape May, it's a halfway decent buffet if you like seafood that they offer.
It's more.
What?
It is definitely more than half decent.
I'm not.
In
I'll
this, okay, here. Maybe if I describe it better, you'll agree with me. In the world of Disney buffets, it is very good.
Yes.
In the world of food and beverage options, it's good.
Yeah.
But in the buffet world of Disney, it's very good.
Yeah.
I can't
I
compare
could-
Yachtsman to Cape May, but if you're talking 1900 Park Fair to Cape May, if you're talking
That's
Ohana
fair.
to Cape May, and those other buffets to Cape May is very good.
No, it is. It's. I don't dislike it. I think it's good. It's not the best restaurant in the world. That's what I mean by that. It's a good buffet. They got crab legs, and I like crab legs. So they got Cape May, and Cape May. The second you walk into the beach club, you can smell Cape May, and I just love that smell. That smell reminds me of Disney so much. I love it during Christmas time when you have the carousel gingerbread thing that they make. It's right connected to the beach club, or the boardwalk, which is one of my favorite. I almost think it's a hidden gem because I think not enough people know about it. I mean, at least the non-regular Disney goers know about the boardwalk. So it's got that, and also the very best part about the beach club, it is walking distance to Epcot, which is my favorite part, without a doubt.
I like it. I like everything you said. This resort's not on my list, but it was very hard, especially if you follow my YouTube. It was very hard for not to make my list because everybody knows how much Sarah and I really enjoy going to the beach club just to spend
Did you know
our
it was going to be on
evenings.
my list?
I knew one of those would be. I don't know
Okay.
if the other ones are or not, or if you're considering
The
that
yacht,
kind
the
of.
yacht club is not on my list, and I honestly, the beach club blows the yacht club out of the water. As weird as that sounds, in my opinion, it does. Just because the yacht club kind of has that same
Well, I
kind
mean,
of feel to the Grand Floridian.
but
I've stayed at both.
maybe it's. I think it's just because I haven't stayed at either of them, but I kind of just lump them together, and the boardwalk separately, even though they're all kind of connected on on the Crescent Lake is what that lake is called. I kind of connect yacht and beach club together because if you stay at yacht club, you can go to the pool at beach club.
Right.
You just can't do that if you're at the boardwalk.
It's technically the same hotel.
Right. It's just a different color paint on the outside.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 2, right?
Yeah. So you've said.
My number 2 resort. Don't know if you think what this is, and it makes me. I'm curious to think if you knew what my number 1 was after I say this one. Number 2 resort is Disney's Old Key West Resort.
Oh.
Yeah, so
okay.
Disney's Old Key West is one of the older resorts. It's about 25 years old. It was the very first Disney Vacation Club, and that's what it used to be called. It used to be called Disney Vacation Club Resort. And it's a Key West themed resort, just your pinnacle of Florida living. The rooms are so spacious. The service is great. Olivia's is the table service restaurant by the main building that has just from what I hear, I've actually never eaten there, but Sarah has, and many other people I know. Have you, Dom?
I've never eaten.
But I know many people that have that say like the chicken there is the best, that everything there is the best. Just everything about it. The pools are amazing. It's on. You can take boats there as well to Disney Springs on the Sassagoula River. Pools there, everything. What I think is what people don't realize is because of the age and because it was a first time share that Disney put up, people think it's older, think it's run down. They actually just refurbished it. I'm staying there in July, and I haven't been to the refurbished rooms. But what I will tell you is because it was the first time share, Disney used to sell the vacation club as your home away from home. So because of that, and because Old Key West was the first, they didn't they weren't as business and cynical about it by trying to squeeze as much space out of every unit that they could. So these were like a one bedroom villa there is absolutely huge. A two bedroom is like a house. There is no lack of space in these rooms if you're staying in any of the villas, which I think is the entire
Right.
resort. And you've stayed there with us.
I did. I
Don't you
really
don't
enjoyed
you
that
agree that
hotel.
they're massive?
No, it is very big, and I think the hotel is very nicely themed from someone that's been to the Keys. It very much has that Key West vibe to it. I think it's nicer than Key West. I think it's much more put together, but it definitely does have that vibe to it.
That's all I got. I got nothing but love for Old QS. What's your number two?
So my number two
I have no
is a
idea what it
resort
is.
that I have stayed at before, and it's very similar to Wilderness Lodge. It actually, I believe, was designed by the same person, and that is Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay,
What?
okay. Let's hear why. Let's hear why,
Okay.
and then I'll tell you why I scoff.
So my number two resort is Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. And it is for many, many reasons. One, I have stayed at this resort before. And I'll start out kind of talking about what we've talked about previously, and that is the restaurants at Animal Kingdom Lodge are all phenomenal. From Boma to Jitco to Sanaa to quick service, they're all very, very good places to eat, and I would recommend any of those places to anybody, not only staying at that resort, but going to Walt Disney World. Two, I think their pool is one of the nicest pools on Disney property. I think the rooms are very nicely themed. I like the dark woods. It's very cozy. It just makes me feel, at home in those rooms. Another thing is, which a lot of people love and it kind of draws people to this place, is that it is on the savannah. So you can see the animals from outside your room if you get lucky enough to get one of those rooms. Or you can even see them if you go by the pool area. That's another great thing about this resort. And my favorite thing about this resort is the lobby. I think you walk into that lobby and it's just so big and grand. It is so immersive. It just, you have um, the kind of music playing in the background. You look straight out and you see the animals. The smell of Animal Kingdom Lodge is just unreal. You can smell the boma from the lobby, and it's just everything about this resort. I just love, and I'm gonna name one thing that I dislike about it because I want to see if we're on the same page. And the only thing, if I had to give anything negative about this resort, and that would be that it is far away from everything. And I don't know if that's the same thing you're gonna say, but we will see.
That was the big to do that I scoffed at. That is my big issue with it.
Oh, so I was right.
Yeah, and it's different. Obviously, I don't have that issue living here because it's actually I live the closest to Animal Kingdom. But for anybody going on vacation, from when I used to work there and talk to guests, from when I've just experienced taking buses there and everything, like it is. And I don't even I don't and I don't know why it bugs me so much because I'm not even one to be affected by it because I'm one when I'm on vacation I'm a park open and park close if I can. I'm not one to go back to my resort and rest or what, at least right now in my life. When I have kids or go with family, we might do that, but it's easily 20 minutes minimum to almost anywhere you're going to go on property. Some places longer, some places shorter a little bit. So now you could take into effect, let's just say average wait time of 15 minutes on a good day to wait for your bus. You're waiting there for 15 minutes. Now you hop on your bus. Now it's 20 minutes. Now it's taking almost 40 minutes to get anywhere on property. So now if you are a family that goes to rest in the middle of the day or goes home, goes back to the resort to grab dinner or change and come back out, you're taking away about an hour of your vacation time. And if you're only going to Disney for 4 or 5 days, that hour is a lot.
Right. I agree. And that it's not something that would take it off my list because obviously it's my number two, but it is something that definitely is something to think about for sure.
Yeah, but everything else you said, the room theming is amazing. The food we've already talked about in previous podcasts. I will point out there that they've got a beautiful fireplace in the lobby to hang out in. Um, I mentioned before you can do night vision for free if you don't have a Savannah view at nighttime in the main building. Go to the backside, past the pool to the left. There's night vision goggles in the evenings to look at animals through night vision goggles, which is really cool for and people of all ages. I love it.
Beautiful.
Minus the distance.
So I guess I think I know that sole reason took it off your list.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big, I like to optimize all my time. You can talk to, I mean, you've experienced it yourself, but you can talk to anybody. You can ask Sarah or anybody that's gone to Disney with me. Like, nothing bugs me more than losing time in the parks that I don't have to.
Okay, put this park where the boardwalk is. Where's it on your list?
Above, it's my number 4, and Riverside kicks it. So it would be Pop Century, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Grand Fla, Old Key West, and then my number 1.
Okay, I know you're.
But
not gonna want
everything you said is right. Like the architecture is beautiful, the service is beautiful, the fact that you can see real life animals right outside. Me and Sarah stayed there one night to get the extra the Magical Express back to the airport, and we actually got basically a savannah view without being a savannah view because we were technically by where the animals like
Right.
hang out at night, so it wasn't part of the savannah, but they were right there. So I got to drink coffee and look at like antelope. It was awesome.
Wonderful.
My number 1. You
I know it.
what?
I was having a hard time thinking. I was thinking, what is this number 1? He doesn't like Animal Kingdom Lodge.
I've already said Grand Floridian. What do you think
is
it is?
And it's Wilderness Lodge.
100% Wilderness Lodge. Everything. I have not thought of a bad thing about this resort, even to the point where you can go out past the pool, turn around, look at the building, and if you look at the building as a whole, it looks like a bear. The architecture, I don't know if you knew that. There's 2 windows in the top plus like a vent that looks like a bear's eyes and nose, and the 2 wings, because the building is a giant U shape. The tops of the U's picture being arms of the bear coming out, and the base of the U is where you look up on the 7th floor out from outside and you see the bear's eyes, and because they're windows at nighttime you can really tell because they're lit up. I don't know if you know this either, but
I did not know that.
I think the lobby is more beautiful than Animal Kingdom's because it's a little bit more grandeur. There's 2 giant totem poles.
Oh, I
and
think the opposite.
the club lounge is in the lobby on the 7th floor. So you could be eating all the way up there, 7th floor, in club lounge, looking down at everything. Christmas time, it's beautiful. Every day of the year, it's beautiful. The pool is my favorite pool in all of Disney World just for that stream. There's a stream that begins as a little geyser in the lobby, goes from inside the lobby through underneath the wall out into the river, and the river flows into the pool that you could be swimming in. Everything about this resort, and even for the nature people out there, there's even a path that connects from Wilderness Lodge to Fort Wilderness that you can go see animals. I saw a deer on it like 2 weeks ago. We won't get into that story, but you can take buses to the parks. You can take boats to Magic Kingdom. And if you've watched any of the other vlogs and either of our channels or podcasts, I'm obsessed with boats in Disney World. Everything about this resort, I love. I would literally, I could live there, and I would if I could.
You would if you could. Oh, beautiful.
Well, there's our top 5 resorts. Oh, do you have an honorable mention?
I haven't even said my number 1 yet, so.
Oh, what's I already know it. That's why I think.
So my number 1 resort is the Polynesian Village, shall I say, because that's what they call it now, resort. This is a resort I have never stayed at, but
typical Dom.
I've probably spent more time in this resort than any other resort on Disney property.
Hold on.
Outside of Pop Century.
Hold on. Put a comment down below if you're thinking right now, this man lives in the Great White North, Canada. Of course he loves the Polynesian Resort. It's like the direct opposite of the frigid North.
Right. Exactly. My favorite Disney restaurant is in there in Ohana. I love the theming. I love the Hawaiian music. I love the smell. They have changed the smell a little bit since they got rid of the waterfall, but it's still very good. And mind you, I still wish the waterfall was there. And I guarantee anybody that is listening to this, 90% of the people would agree with me that the waterfall should still be there. But either way, the lobby's still beautiful. I love the paths. I love Trader Sam's. I love the pool. I love the view of Cinderella's castle right when you walk out of the lobby. I think everything about this resort is awesome. I would love to stay at the bungalows one day. Just everything about this resort just reminds me of Disney. It's one of the original Disney hotels. It even though it's my favorite, it does have a different feel to it. It doesn't look like any other resort on Disney property. You know, it just has even from the outside, it just doesn't have like that distinct look to it.
I want to do the Spirit of Aloha so bad.
I hear the show's good. I hear the food's just okay.
I've
Just from what I've heard.
because of spending all the time at the Grand Floridian that we do, and we do park at the Poly a lot and hang out there a lot because I love hanging out on the beach. So I am surprised. Like we spend a lot of time at the those two resorts because they're just really accessible. Like we can walk super easily between the two, and with that walk you actually walk past the Spirit of Aloha stage, and you can hear it and smell it and hear the performances at night. And it's I just really would like to go do that sometime this year, hopefully.
Sounds like a plan. So that was my number one, the Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. So, Peter, your honorable mention. Go for it.
The boardwalk, and for anybody who are avid watchers, we're probably thinking, how on earth does this man not have the boardwalk or beach club or yacht club on there? Because he spends like probably 15% of my time since I moved here there. But that's just because um, I it's almost like not a resort to me. Like I don't even know. I would love to stay there. I'd love to stay at the beach club for the pool. I have stayed at the boardwalk one night. I just think the boardwalk I know is going through refurbishments, but I think like overall they're a little dated.
Oh, it is.
Um,
I've been there. I've stayed there before, and they are dated rooms. My parents loved it, but it is very dated. The location is spot on, though.
but it's just like Dom said. There's with my other ones like Port Orleans, Pop Century, have nostalgic and emotional connections to them. Well, all five do, but then I think to me, hands down, Grand Floridian, Old Key West, and Wilderness Lodge, they hold a bigger stake in me than Boardwalk. So Boardwalk would probably actually go. You took emotions out, would probably go above Animal Kingdom, but below Grand Fly. So that would be my four, and then Animal Kingdom would be my five if you took distance away. Um, but I'm still sticking to my five. But Boardwalk's my honorable mention.
Awesome. And I was thinking, at first I wanted to say Port Orleans Riverside, but you said that already. And then I thought, well, how about Fort Wilderness? And that is something that I think is very cool about Disney. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go real off the deep end here and totally throw you off on what my honorable mention is going to be.
All Star Sports.
Nope. And I guess we didn't clarify, but these are places that I specifically one of them that I've stayed at quite a few times. And if for some reason you are trying to go to Disney and it's peak season, you can't get into a Disney hotel.
Oh,
And
don't even go to Disney Springs area Good Neighbors
let
Resorts.
me do it. Let me do
No.
it. Let me do it.
Fine, let's hear it. Across the street from Disney Springs.
And you can't do it. There are nice, affordable options at the Disney Spring Resort area hotels. Would I stay here above any Disney resort? No. Not even the All Stars. I would not stay there before any of them.
You know how hard it's going to be not to cut that out of the podcast when I'm editing this?
Listen, our job here is give the people valuable information on our knowledge of Disney, right?
Yeah, and I will say, to his point, they are super convenient for cost, availability, and do not be scared. I'd rather you stay there than a nicer Hyatt Regency, Marriott World Center, any of those ones that are off I-4 down the street. Stay at the Disney Springs hotels over it because you can walk to Disney Springs and take the buses that pretty much run all the time. Any of those other resorts that are close by that look nicer, the Hyatt Regencies, the Hilton Grand Vistas, those resorts a lot of times have two buses. They bus you to the ticket and transportation center outside of Magic Kingdom in the morning.
They aren't
at
the
night.
Disney buses though.
What?
They aren't the Disney buses. I want
No.
to clarify that.
No, yeah, but like if there's a shuttle bus between your resort that's not Disney and Disney, make sure you know the times and frequency because most times it's once during the morning and once at night. So if you miss that at night or you oversleep, you're taking a taxi, Uber, or something like that and paying for it.
No, or you could just take if you're at Magic Kingdom and your Disney Springs area hotel bus leaves, just take a bus back to Disney Springs and you can walk right back to your hotel.
Yeah. I was saying if you were staying at somewhere a resort that's not Disney Springs.
Yeah.
There's so many
Right.
resorts down that I don't think I know you're aware they're there, but like I never knew until I moved here and lived and worked down here and would travel outside of a 10-mile radius of Disney that there are so many resorts in the area that people do go stay at. They're like, oh, it's super cheap and super available at Christmas time, but it's 15 miles down the road, and then they're
Right.
like, "Oh, I'm going to take my shuttle there," and it's an 8 a.m. shuttle and an 8 p.m. shuttle, and that's it.
Right. Right. And that's why I mentioned, listen, like I said, I would not stay at any of these hotels before any Disney resort, but there has been times where we, wanted to come down and we couldn't get a hotel in a Disney resort just because it was either overly priced or for whatever reason they were booked. So that's why I would recommend staying at one of those hotels if you had to. So, Peter, I've had a great time. That was our top 5 favorite resorts at Walt Disney World. I just want to mention before we end, you can follow Peter and Sarah at the Brookhart Project on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow myself and my girlfriend Victoria on YouTube at Dom and Vic, and on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit. You can also email us at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com to tell us your theme park testimonials. And if you feel inclined to, you can become a part of our exclusive group at patreon.com. So, Peter, I've had a very good time with this episode. I hope you did as well.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I got to see a little bit deeper of who Dom and I are as people. I think it's very telling what two men come out of a conversation about where their favorite places to sleep at night are.
Right. And like I said, I would not stay there before a Disney resort. But before we get into an argument, I'm going to end this here. Thanks again. My name's Dominic Yefko. You are Peter Brookhart, and this is the Park Hopper Podcast.